Hi there, Sandra here from Create in Spain, and today I am doing the third in a series of Valentine's cards. And what I've got here is a card front that I've done, and I don't know how well you can see it, so when I edit this I will try and make sure that it's put in close up. But it has a nice blended colour over it, and it has very delicate lines, white lines of hearts going through the whole lot. Now this is a very lightweight card and it's not watercolour paper or anything, so it has slightly warped with what I've put on it, but I will either do one of two things. I will either put it through my embossing machine and flatten it out a bit that way. That's actually quite successful most of the time. Or I will put a complete layer of foam on the back of this before I stick it onto a card, and that will straighten it out somewhat as well. So I want to show you how I did this. I'm not necessarily going to use the same colours, but I will show you how I did it. Now this has been done with the Arteza gouache paints, and the colours that I used for this were pearl bubblegum, blush pink, mauve, and a little bit of sky blue. So there's some colours in there. Now this particular one, I did the drawing of the hearts with a jelly roll. It's a Sakura jelly roll pen, a white one. Now it's white cardstock, as you can see, and I put the jelly roll pen in my silver bullet and I drew the hearts. Now if you don't have a cutting machine, you don't want to do that, you can't do that or whatever, you can always freehand them. You know, it's only hearts. It's nothing very difficult about drawing a load of hearts, and they're overlapping each other and they're facing in different directions, a bit randomly. So that was what I used for that one. And just as an experiment, the one that I'm going to colour for you now, I did with a different type of pen. With this one, I did it with my Signo white pen, again in the silver bullet, so the actual design is exactly the same. I think these lines are slightly more raised and very slightly thicker, so they might show up a little more than the other one does. I like the effect of the other one, don't get me wrong, but this might show up more, I don't know. You could also use either a gold or a silver pen to do the hearts. That would look really pretty as well. So in order to do the colour blending, I'm going to be using one of these makeup style brushes. It is still very slightly damp, but only very slightly. And I'm just going to spritz it with a spray of water, just to dampen it a bit further. So I'm going to do some slightly different colours this time. I think I'm going to go for Pearl Noir, the Sky Blue, and this one, which is Peach Red. When I say Peach Red, I don't think this is, strictly speaking, peachy. And I can't open the top. I've got it stuck. Let's see. There we go, that's it. Because that's my colour swatch, and that is peach red. That's pretty bright. Which is why I have the other two colours, which are nowhere near as bright as that. I'm just going to put that one there. Make sure I've got this one opened. You see, that is quite a dark grey looking colour, and then I have the sky blue. So the first one I'm going to put down is actually the darker of the grey, and I'm just going to put a couple of little bits. I'm not even squeezing the tube, okay? I just tapped the tube onto the brush. That's as far as it went. Didn't do anything else. And I'm going to blend it a little bit on my scrap paper, and then put some of this on here. There we are. Got some colour down. Not too much of it because it is such a dark colour. So that one can go back in there. And the next one, I think, actually the next one I think I'm going to do is this one. My heavens, that is so bright. One tiny, tiny little spritz of that. I think I will put some more water on here because I think that's going to be such a very, very bright colour. And again, yeah, that's bright. So I just want to have a little of it. I don't want lots of it, just want a little bit. And once it's on there, I can press a little harder with my brush and blend it in. Now, if you don't like the result you've got and if you want to mix it more, all you have to do is put more water on the brush and go over it, because water is going to dissolve the paint. So this is really easy stuff to use. And I'm now going to go in with a bit of the blue, but I'm going to use a little bit more of the blue. There we are. A little bit more of that. And I'm just going to dab it, first of all. And then I'm going to apply a little more pressure. Now I've got way too much pigment on there for that, so spritz my brush, tap it on there a little bit, and as you can see, when you go over this now, it takes the strength of the colour away, it blends the paint, and I'm getting this lovely semi-transparent but not completely transparent effect. So I've got areas where I have more colour, so I can brush it a bit harder. I could add more colour if I wanted to. But it's a really pretty effect and I like it. Now, looking at the two of them, I think the lines on here show up ever so slightly more, but there isn't much in it, to be honest. So both of those white pens do the trick. Now, if you wanted to, of course, you could use a stamp on here, and you could use an embossing powder, whether it be clear or white, and you could do something very similar for the background pattern, and then go over it with your paints. I'm going to leave that one to dry. I will probably have to leave it overnight now because it's getting a little late, but I can actually work with that one. But I think they both look really nice. I love the colours, I really do. So this first one, I've put foam on the back of it and I've put it onto my card base. Now the other part of this particular one, which is quite a modern Valentine's Day card, is this cutout here, which hopefully you can just see it, and she says true love. Now I've done that with a silver pen in my silver bullet, and the text is pulled around so that it looks like it's going around a sphere. And here I have a vinyl cutout of the lettering. Now this is just a plain black vinyl. So I'm going to take a piece of sticky back plastic, which is designed to be removable, place it over my letters to pick them up. So I'm going to use that and stick it down in the right place on top of here, but I'm going to do that off camera because I really need to have my head right over the top of it. So I'm going to use a little bit of dark colour. Actually, I'll just put it on the brush there for the moment. And I've dampened my brush. This is Wineberry. That's really, really quite dark. And I'm just going to go over the edge of this here. So I'm going to spritz my brush again, pick up a bit more of this paint, and go over this. gone over the edge first, but I will be going over the centre as well, just not quite as much. Don't think that is the right colour though. I think I'd need a different colour. Here we go, here's violet. So again, I'm going to spritz my brush with some water. Yeah, this is definitely a dark colour. I may have a little too much paint on there. I think I better rub. Oh wow, that is dark. Okay, we are definitely getting the darker hue here. That's better. That's really going to stand out now when it goes onto there, which is what I wanted. Now I want to leave this to dry a little bit, because the other thing I want to do is put some white highlights on, but if I do that when the paint is wet, it's just going to make it go pale but not bright white, and I want some bright white highlights in there. But as you can see, it gives a nice dimensional effect doing that, and I will raise it on foam and put it onto the front of the card and then finish the decoration afterwards. So here's my finished card. I think it looks pretty good. It's a nice modern version of a Valentine's Day card. So you'll notice that I've put some white highlights over here, and that was just done with a white Signo pen. And to finish it off, I just put a few little sparkly gems on. Nothing too over the top. This one is supposed to be restrained, shall we say. So the second piece that I had cut for the other card is actually on watercolour paper, and I have put the vinyl on it already. Now normally I think what you probably ought to do is to colour it, allow it to dry, and then put the vinyl on. That's not what I'm doing, is it? We'll see whether this actually works. And because the other card that I'm doing is a blue card, I'm coming in here with a pink, because obviously I want you to be able to tell the difference between this and the card base. So a little bit of pink going on at a time, and then blending it out with some water. So here are the two cards. This is the first one, this one the second, just in different colorways. I did add a darker mauvey tinge to the edge of this one. It just wasn't quite dark enough on the shadowed areas. And I added a tiniest hint of a very, very pale blue in the center. And on this one, I've put some slightly larger gems than are on this one here. But I'm pleased with the results. I hope you like them too. And I'll see you again soon. Take care now.